Time is of the essence. We must assist our allies.
Looks like Fable developers just shut down 1/3 of their employee, and it is 100% cooked. Fable Reboot is 100% cooked. I mean, when's the last time we heard about, or perhaps we seen her? I mean, it's been a long time. How come we haven't heard anything? Any trailer? I mean, we do get clips, okay? So far, that's it. Nothing else. We're going to react to Dr. Disaster's video, and let's see what he has to say before we make our judgment.
In any event, let's talk about the layoffs at Eidos Montreal. This isn't particularly surprising because, as I said before, this is a studio which hasn't released anything since 2021, and most of their recent games have been real turds. I've heard that the Guardians of the Galaxy game they put out was fine, but after the Marvel's Avengers live service microtransaction debacle, there was no chance I was going to give Guardians a shot. Well, apparently, those chickens have come home to roost because so far this year, the studio has lost over 1/3 of their employees who work there. But let's read about it in this article here from GameRanks. The article says, as reported by Video Games Chronicle, the studio shared this message on LinkedIn. Today, we informed our studio staff that we are going to let go up to 75 valuable members as one of our mandates is coming to an end. It is not a reflection of their dedication or skills, but unfortunately, we don't have the capacity to entirely reallocate them to our other ongoing projects and services.
How much you want to bet that is from US aid? How much you want to bet that they got their funds from US aid? We are aware that the funds has dried out, although I'm not certain. Fable is now being owned by Xbox, and Xbox is owned by Microsoft, which I believe it is, published by Xbox, so I think they'll get paid regardless, but that besides the point. I mean, seriously, that's not a good sign when you're laying off people.
Never mind the fancy talk and the euphemisms, allow me to translate. They don't have the cash flow to support these people, and they don't have the work to justify keeping them on. So, they are making moves to ensure the entire studio doesn't go under. One thing to throw out there, this has been a studio that had a pretty steady flow of games which would come out about every other year or so, but all of that stopped after 2021. They won't have a new game released until 2026 with Fable, and even then, they are just a support studio on that game. Now, a part of this may be due to the absolute failure of Avengers from 2020. The only game they've released since then was Guardians of the Galaxy in 2021, but clearly, that title was already in development. They may have had trouble getting green-lit for projects after Avengers, but it also may be that the Embracer Group has simply mismanaged them. Embracer acquired the studio in 2022 as part of a larger deal where they acquired a bunch of property from Square Enix. And, as is often the case with these sorts of blockbuster deals, some of these smaller studios become afterthoughts. It may be that Embracer simply didn't know what to do with them. I suspect it's a combination of these two factors.
Now that could be a interesting take. Take a look with Concord. Sony bought Firewatch Studios, but they expect a return on investment, but instead, they just lost $400 million. What else? Bandai Namco expected a return on investment for Unknown Nine Awakening. Same thing. And they had to terminate products or other developers who worked on, say, Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's not a good sign. Don't these people who bought these studios think before they even do it? But then again, what am I kidding? They won't listen to chuds like us.
This is a studio with access to some pretty iconic IP, namely Deus Ex and Thief. A few years back, it was reported that they were starting work on a new Deus Ex, but it has been radio silence ever since. But they talk about this project in the article. It says here, Eidos Montreal announced layoffs of 97 staff just this January. At the time, they made the expected explanation that it was due to the unfavorable economic conditions of the video game industry, as well as the restructuring undertaken by its parent company, the now infamous Embracer Group. This time, they made reference to an end of one of our mandates. While they did not reveal what the mandate is, we suspect we know what it is. It may be the long-rumored Deus Ex game. that was also rumored to be cancelled. To be clear, although Embracer Group stated that they were done with their restructuring, this could be considered one of the remaining unfinished pieces of business related to that restructuring process, since they didn't officially announce a new Deus Ex. Eidos Montreal doesn't have to confirm that they canceled such a project. That also means that we can't be really sure what future plans they have for the franchise. So my guess is that this isn't the case. I'm fairly sure that after 4 years without a new game of any kind, and with only a project they worked on as a support studio on the horizon for the foreseeable future, it would be unlikely that they wouldn't just shutter the whole damn studio if they didn't have this Deus Ex game to work on. No, I'm willing to bet that the mandate that ended was work on Fable. After all, that game comes out sometime next year, and it is likely that Playground no longer needs them to keep working on the game. Things are likely wrapping up for Fable. At a glance, I'd say that Eidos Montreal is in a similar state to a studio like BioWare. They don't have a disappointment quite as bad as the likes of Dragon Age the Veilguard, though Avengers may give it a run for its money. But, like BioWare, the studio has been stripped nearly to its bare bones, and it's likely they are throwing out one last Hail Mary with a familiar IP to save the company.
There is a way for them to do so, which I hope, and I do mean I hope they don't attack the fans, because the moment that the people who make Fable Reboot attack the fans, attack gamers, saying that they're racist or perhaps if you don't like it, don't buy it, then it is 100% cooked. It is never a good sign when you had to eliminate 1/3 of your employees. And with all the gaps in the market, aka the gaming market, the East, along with some indie peoples, and yes, there are some Western games, they're filling up the market. But mostly the East. I would say that based on this, 100% cooked. I think the moment it releases, it could be 1,000% or 600%. It depends. You guys can make your numbers. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they release a trailer, something.
Your might on the battlefield proved most impressive. With a little more training, you will be right up there with me in no time.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want woke or anti-war detected, or you just want to see me play games, or perhaps you like trending topics. Visit my second, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.